Good morning, everyone. This is Nitya Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show. Happy Tuesday. This is the big 1,000th episode for the NR Hour Show, NR Hour Sports Show. So really excited for this interview. We are joined by a really special guest. His name is Tony Bozzella. He's a current head coach for Seton Hall women's basketball Pirates team, and man, fresh off in the WNIT tournament, going to all the way to the championship round. But they lost to South Dakota, but still a great season to improve on and build on, and a historic season actually for Seton Hall. And he also coached for Southampton, LIU, Brooklyn, Iona also. So I can't wait for this. His coaching record is 453 and 417. So we are live on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, and all the podcast platforms. So fans, please tune in. You can ask questions to Coach today. And Coach Tony, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor. And like I said, a great season. Congrats to you guys. And unfortunately, you guys came up short, but you can build on from this. So.
Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here. The 1,000th guest. I mean, that's just, geez, everything's been going really well except for last Saturday for us. So this is well, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to have you on. And like I said, fans can ask questions to Coach Tony today on these platforms. So please tune in. And Coach, I just want to, before we get to your coaching career, I just want to say, I want to get your thoughts on, obviously the men's side made huge news bringing Shaheen Holloway to be their head coach. What are your thoughts on that, bringing him back home? And Seton Hall is building something special between you and them.
Well, Coach Willard did a great job here with the men's program. I've known Coach Willard since he was at Iona, and then, Shaheen was there, and I got to know Shaheen when he was just, getting used to coaching and stuff. And what I'll tell you about Shaheen is he's going to bring a lot of passion to the job. He's got a lot of pride. He's an alumni. He believes in Seton Hall. He knows what Seton Hall is about. Seton Hall is about the people, and Shaheen's going to help that, program grow and get even better. Coach Willard took it to a great level. I think a level that many people don't even understand how hard it was to be in the tournament 5 of the last 6 years and have all the success he did. But Shaheen understood it because he was there. Shaheen was helping him do that as an assistant. And obviously Shaheen went to Peters, did well the other years too, and then had a magical one this year. So I think it's going to be a great transition. I think Shaheen's going to do an amazing job, and I'm excited to work with Shaheen once again.
Yeah. So for you, when did you get interested in coaching, and who would you say some of your biggest influences in your career so far?
Well, I was a really bad player in high school, and I barely played, and I sat on the bench, but I was really into the game, and we had a very talented high school team. And I saw the way my head coach and my assistant coach really managed the team. So I asked, can I go, sit in on the meetings and go scouting? And they allowed me to do it. And I just had a great love. And Mark Hasten was my high school coach, and John Delecki was the assistant. And Coach Delecki is still a great friend of mine. He was a great basketball coach, baseball coach. He helped me a lot with my organization. I still write the practice plan the same way my varsity coach did it years ago. But they taught me how to manage different types of personalities and different types of ethnic groups. And that was the biggest thing I learned from them. I mean, we had kids from all types of life, all types of families, and they were able to show me how I could unite them and help unite them to get the most out of them. And I think that's something that I really carried on throughout my career.
Yeah. So obviously being a player on the bench, what did you learn from your head coach, especially, and what do you say learning from your head coach and being on the bench to become a coach right now, where you're at right now?
I think you learned how to become a teacher because, when you're a great player, sometimes you expect your players to be able to do what you did. And I was a terrible player, so I have no expectations for what they should do. Beforehand, I just want to teach them. And one of the reasons we're so successful in our programs through the years is player development. We believe in player development. I've had a great staff, and I have an amazing staff now that really works very hard on player development. I really, want to make what we do. And I have a staff that teaches it amazing, and our kids all get better. And that's what I learned in high school because, I was a bad player, and I could just see, how important it was to get better and to get these kids better. Because as good as they were, they still had room they could grow. And the ones that wanted to grow got a lot better and went on to college. The ones that didn't want to grow didn't get those opportunities. So my head coach made sure I understood how important it was to get better.
Yeah, so we are live with Seton Hall women's head coach Tony Bozzella. We already have a fan question for you. Someone wants to know toughest game you've been a part of as a head coach so far.
Jeez, I think I just played it.
Yeah.
Our game at South Dakota State, they're a very good team in a sold out environment. Basically, our third straight sellout that we played, it was packed, and Columbia was sold out, and our 3 games here were packed. But that was a hard game for us because, we had traveled for so many straight days, and, we were exhausted, and they hadn't traveled in the tournament. So it was a really hard game. That was hard. But I think the game before Middle Tennessee was extremely hard. I mean, we're up 22 points to down 4 points with 25 seconds to go. I mean, I was just so proud of the resiliency of our kids and how they executed at the end. And the Columbia game was one of the best games I've been involved in. We had our band, our cheerleaders, all our fans, 18 lead changes. I trusted our point guard at the end of the game, did not even call timeout, and she executed tremendously. These 3 games have been 3 of the hardest ones I've ever played in. Obviously we played in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
We played for a Big East championship. But I played for a MAC championship years ago against Coach Georges many times. But just this week, these 3 games that we just played, Columbia, Middle Tennessee, and South Dakota State, was probably the toughest stretch I've ever had to coach.
Wow. Yeah, so you started your coaching career in 1992 with Southampton. So tell us about that opportunity and how grateful were you at that time and getting your first opportunity at Southampton?
I was a 26-year-old coach who had coached 3 years of high school ball and 2 years as an assistant at D2. And I got the job because no one else really wanted it. It was part-time. I made $3,000. I was really excited for that. And I'll never forget, before my first game, I'm like, wow, we're going to have a great year. And I think we lost like 95-50. And I was like, wow. And we went 3-21 that year. But it taught me, they gave me a lot of latitude. My AD, Mary Topping, and my associate ADs, Sidney Corwith and Ed Goodhines, mentored me and helped me. And, I was foolish and I was silly and I was crazy and I didn't know what I was doing. But what I did know was we were going to work really hard. I mean, we practiced long hours. We worked on player development even back then. And we just built it into a really solid, high-level Division II program. And I thought I was going to do that the rest of my life. I'll own my dad's business and be a part-time coach. And then I was blessed. John Suarez at LIU gave me an opportunity to be the head coach there. I was his second choice as well. The first choice took the job and then turned it down. And then we went to NCAA tournament our first year. And, we did really well both years, and I got the Iona job. Sean Brennan hired me. He was an amazing man, and he really had a lot of faith in me. And then Pat Lyons came in, and I was 14-70 in my first 3 years. And I was going to fire me, and he brought me in and he gave me a vote of confidence, and we ended up having 8 really good years after that. And I met some great friends and great people at all these places. My associate head coach was one of our kids that got us over the hump there and was one of our better players level. And, she's here now and she's helping us get these players to the next level. So, this career has been great because I've met some great people and I've had an opportunity to really coach a lot of players. My first recruit ever at Southampton, still one of my closest kids that I ever talked to. Wow. So it's nice.
Yeah. So for you, what's it like teaching these young kids and young athletes trying to get better at their craft and just being around these players and seeing them go work hard throughout their careers, especially 1992 till now? But what's it like just helping these young athletes get to where they want to be?
It's really changed a lot. I mean, I think, society and expectations for some of these people aren't as earned as they are in the past. I think in the past you wanted to earn everything, and now I think there's a lot of entitlement and stuff. But we have a great core of kids, and I'm lucky. Between my staff, Warren and Jose and Pete, they're really good people, and then they're really good teachers. And then I have great Shakina Richardson's on my staff
Yeah.
as well, and she helps mentor the younger kids. But these three people do a great job of teaching, not just teaching a basketball skill, but teaching hard. We standard here at Seton Hall that you're going to work hard and that you're going to. And yes, do we achieve that standard all the time? No, I would love to tell you, yes, that's all we do. But this year's team never gave up. And when we were 8-10, we went back to that standard of working hard. We still did individuals. We still, worked on our game. We still did the same drills because we knew that if we could just get over the hump, 16-3. But the staff does a great job of holding these kids accountable to help them in life, not just on the basketball floor. And it's not easy and it's not perfect. We're far from perfect.
Yeah.
But I will say we care about our kids more than anyone I know. We care about them as people and we care about them as players.
So we have another fan question for you. They want to know, what does it mean to be a Seton Hall Pirate?
It means that I'm going to give my best all the time. I'm going to never give up. And I'm going to understand that things are going to be difficult at times. Difficult because we're going to make them difficult for them, but difficult because there are difficult things. So you need to be strong-minded and strong-willed, but also know that you have a staff behind you that's going to support you and take care of you.
Yeah, I want to get to Iona. Obviously, a great college program too, basketball for men and women's side. And for you, what was it like coaching with that team and the college atmosphere there? And obviously, you see Rick Pitino there doing big things at Iona now too.
Well, like I said, we started 14-70, and my associate coach, Lauren DeFalco, came into the program. She had some good teammates. We had a great player who got drafted, Martina Weber, that really helped elevate our program to the next level. And then when I left, we left some of the greatest players, not in Iona history, but in MAC history as well. D'Amica Martinez became the all-time leading scorer. Joy Adams became the third all-time leading scorer and the all-time leading rebounder. We left built it up really well. I mean, in this day and age, it probably all would have come with me to Seton Hall. Back then, you kept them together and they were a family, and that's what we had achieved at Seton Hall. And those those kids won the MAC championship at the end, which I was so proud of those kids for, because obviously they were great players. But it was great to coach at Iona. And I had some great head coaches. Jeff Rulin, when I went in there to meet him the first time, he's a 6'11" man who scared the whatever out of me and treated me like a tremendous person. He welcomed me in. He let me watch their practice. He taught me about toughness and and then I was blessed to really coach with, Coach Willard. Coach Willard came in and taught me, organization a little bit more and work ethic and just toughness. He had to take a program that had really gone downhill at the end and built it back up. So he helped me there. And then really one of the greatest coaches I've ever been around is Coach Clues. Coach Pitino's doing a wonderful job there at Iona, and we'll do a great job. Coach Clues accomplished at Iona is second to none. Him and Coach Grasso, his players, they brought a style in that taught me so much. They ran, they moved, it was positionless. They did so many things. And what I learned from Coach Clues was, I went into his office one day and I was complaining because our center was very good and she was just not doing anything. And I was upset. He goes, well, why do you play her? I go, well, she's our center. He goes, well, who cares? He goes, play the 5 best players, let them guard them, and let's see what happens. And he taught me to think out. Yes, we do that now. But he taught me to think out of the box and think a little differently sometimes. And at Seton Hall, we have to think a little differently sometimes. We don't maybe have some of the facilities or some of the things right now. But what we do is we teach the kids, or we try and think out of the box a little bit on what we do. As I've ever been around. And yes, Coach Pitino's going to do great, but no one's ever going to achieve what Coach Clues did. 5 MAC championships. I think he went to the NCAA 6 out of 8 or 7 out of 9 years. And more than anything, he always had time for me and always had time for my staff. And I love him. I do. And I hated to see him leave, but I know he's always supporting me. And he just did an amazing job. And I learned so much from all these coaches. My time at Iona was great. I was able to make mistakes. My first AD, Sean Brennan, my second AD, Pat Lyons, mentored me and got me to be a better coach as well.
Well, so we have another fan question. They want to know how often you argue with the refs.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, I don't think there's a more passionate coach than me. And I don't think there's one who just tries to establish a rapport better than me. I have a lot of respect for the referees. It's a very difficult job, but our job is very difficult as well. Yeah. So yes, we try and hold them to the same standard that we hold ourselves to. So yes, I am constantly talking to the officials. I don't want to use the word arguing, but I'm constantly discussing with them their calls. So we're blessed in the Big East to have a great bunch of referees and stuff, but it's a hard job. But I do chat with them quite frequently.
Yeah, so tell our fans how did this come about, Seton Hall, for you to come back and coach for this team? Obviously, you're part of this school and part of this history. So how did this come about, and how grateful are you that Seton Hall came calling for you, that they wanted to be for you to be the coach for the women's basketball team?
Well, I thought I was going to spend the rest of my career at Iona. I loved it. I had some great people there. Dr. Nair, who's our president here now at Seton Hall, just Mr. Lyons, Pat Lyons was the AD. He had just become the AD at Seton Hall a little over a year ago. And he called me up and he goes, listen, I'm going to put you, if you're interested, I have a couple of people I'm interested in, I'd love to have you come up and interview and meet the people there. And I did. And I went on 4 separate. People think, oh, you just got the job because you're an alum and you knew Pat. I went on 4 separate interviews to get this job. There was no other job, Iona or LIU or Southampton, that I had to go on 4 separate interviews because they wanted to make sure they were getting the right person. Pat wanted this program to become a really relevant program. So as much as he knew me, he put me through the ringer, and I was glad he did because I earned this position, and I didn't get it because of just being an alum or just knowing him I got it because we had a really good program in Iona, and he saw my passion and my belief in Seton Hall. No one can really recruit a program unless you really believe in it and know it. And I believed in Seton Hall because I went here. I met my wife here. My daughter ended up going here. And I think it'll be the same thing with Shaheen too. I think I think it's one thing to coach at a job, but this is our life. This is where Shaheen met his wife. These things are important. So, I got that job, and it was a dream job. Some people's dream job is UConn. I was going to put everything I could into it, and it was hard. Mm-hmm. I could never thank, Lauren and the rest of my staff that was here at the beginning, because it was hard, and it was just they fought us. We weren't, coming from a high major program. We had to convince the kids. Oh. Then we had to, play in the Big East. I mean, it was hard, and we won 20 games that year. I don't know how. And then, obviously it took off after that. And, except for, one hiccup year, we've been a good team every year. And like this year's team, maybe above average good team.
Man, Coach, you have 147 wins in the Big East. You should be proud of yourself. That's amazing. And throughout your 3 years at Seton Hall, 71-29, man, and 3 playoff appearances and back-to-back NCAA tournaments and 1 WNBA draftee. That's amazing. And so for you, speaking of Coach Lauren, how important was it for you to bring her on the staff from Iona? Obviously, when you were in Iona, and bringing Lauren on the staff with you as assistant coach.
That was important. I think any successful program, it's about your staff. Yeah. And it was hard for Lauren. I thrust her in a really hard position here. She was an assistant at Iona and had done a good job, really good job recruiting. So when she came here, I made her recruiting coordinator. It was hard. It was the first time as a recruiting coordinator, let alone in a Big East program, going against schools that are well more established than we were. And then, it took a lot out of her. I mean, it's been a hard 9 years here for all of us, but for her especially, because she was thrust into a role that she hadn't done before. I had been a head coach before. So while it was on a different level, I had still been a head coach. She had never been a recruiting coordinator. And it's hard. And it was hard to figure out what to sell here at Seton Hall. But I've said this to a lot of people. There's not a better assistant in the country at recruiting. She's a fantastic recruiter. She's an amazing recruiter in terms of the transfers and the portal. And she dove headfirst right in, and she got us really good players. And at the end of the day, I appreciate all those kind words about how many wins we have, but you don't win without good players.
Oh, no.
And we have really good players now. Like our talent level today is as good as most teams in the country. It really is. And we had a great end of the year, finishing 16-3, but we're excited about the future of the program too. And we'll talk about that later. But Lauren has done a great job of establishing two things here. A, getting really good players. Two, holding the kids accountable. And it's not an easy job to hold the kids accountable because you're considered the mean person at that point. But she didn't care. She wants us to be successful and do well. And for her, that's the most important thing. Not, oh yeah, I love you, I like you. How many players come back and appreciate Coach DeFalco a lot more than when she was here? But she makes sure you show up on time. She makes sure you go to class. She makes sure you touch the line. She makes sure you're respectful. She makes sure you try your hardest. Yeah. If you finish fifth in a sprint and you should be finishing second, she's going to say it to you. And I'll never forget, one of the kids once said to me, well, I made the time anyway. She's like, well, if that's the level of what you want to be, then you shouldn't be here. And they were like, look at her, but she's like, you can be better than this. So in the real world, we have a saying here at Seton, we want all our kids to be bosses. Well, they would never be bosses if they didn't have an associate head coach like Lauren, because she's holding them accountable. And it's not an easy thing. Does it. And now, she's surrounded with great assistants as well. Coach Jose and Coach Pete, they do an amazing job. They were both head coaches for many years. They're tremendous hard workers. I mean, we're all at work today. Yeah. And, we finished 2 days ago. So.
Yeah, there's no off season. You got to keep going.
No. We got to get more players. We got to get players. We got to replace the ones who graduated, and we want to get better. I mean, we're happy with what happened this year, especially how we ended, but we want to make the tournament. Our goal is to make the Final Four in the NCAAs. And we feel we can do it one day. We really do.
Yeah. So we have an interesting question from one of our fans. They want to know, obviously, no lead is safe in all sports. And they want to know, coming from a coach side, what message you give to the team, especially having a lead during halftime. And you can tell by yesterday's game, but for you, what's a message that they want to know? What's a message do you usually give the team at halftime when you have a lead, especially?
Yeah, when we have a lead, when we struggled in the third quarter, like that's been a big bugaboo in our program for don't come out and warm up. We go over too many things. We show film at halftime. But what we try and do is, if we are leading, why did we explain? We ask them, why did we get this lead? Mm-hmm. How did we get this lead? How did we accomplish this? And then we ask them to tell us, because when it comes from them telling us, they'll actually believe it a little bit more because it's coming from them. So we try and do that. But it's an interesting question because we've struggled in the third quarter. We had a 22-point lead against Middle Tennessee. It's a 10 or 12-point lead at half. And we came out and they did not execute properly, and they did. But to our kids' credit, and one thing we do, we are a very good fourth quarter team. So if I could just skip the third quarter, we'd be really good.
Yeah, so obviously all of us had a tough time in 2020 with COVID, and they canceled. How tough is it for you and your team? You guys would have made the postseason in 2020, but they canceled due to COVID. And how tough is that for you and your team during that time?
It was hard. We had a great group of seniors: Alexis Lewis, Barbara Johnson, Shadeen Samuels. They were great kids. And they tried hard. We won 19 games that year. We lost in the Big East semifinals by 3 points. We thought we were a bubble NCAA team, certainly a postseason team. And that team was a great bunch of young ladies. Like, it was LP's her own, Maya Jackson's first year as a freshman. I loved coaching that team. That was one of my favorite teams to coach. And to see it end so suddenly, it wasn't even like a loss. Like, we had brought the kids back just to have a team meeting and to maybe, have a little bit of a practice just before we sent them home for a few days for the NCAA selection show. And all of a sudden it was gone. They were done. We didn't see them for months after that. Wow. It was the most weird way to end the season. And, we played that semifinal game against DePaul. It was the best game of the tournament. We lose by 3. They end up winning the next game by 30 or 40. And we knew we were so close. And I was like, this team can make a run, either NCAAs or NITs. And it just ended. And it was hard because we could have been successful, but more so because we had really nice kids. I enjoyed that group. I still hear from Barbara and Shadeen and
Hmm.
Alexis all the time. Shadeen and Alexis came to a bunch of our NIT games.
Oh wow. Yeah, so speaking of that year, also you had COVID too. You were in the hospital, and how tough is that for you, especially on yourself and your family and the team itself? And it's obviously a crazy moment there.
It was hard, and I was blessed to have a very supportive family and obviously supportive coaching staff. My family really got me through this. It's funny when you're sitting in the hospital and you just see different people text you. Like Coach Grasso texts me, he's the head coach of Bryant now, every single day. I had a community college coach that I barely knew text me every single day. His mother was an ER nurse that dealt with COVID people. He would just tell me, "You're going to be okay. She got these people okay." And like people you didn't even barely knew or didn't think cared that much about you did. And obviously, your close friends and stuff. But it was a life-changing moment for me. I became a much better person. I wasn't as caring and I wasn't as attentive to people that I should have been. And it taught me a lot. And I still, pray. And I still, when I go to church, thank God for the opportunity to continue. And it's hard, and it was no joke for me. Like I understand everyone's got different things, but for me, I was lucky. I really was.
Yeah. So what was that like having people behind your back, and obviously a head coach who I'm sure is busy too, but to take time of the day to text you every single day, and how important is that for you?
Well, Jeremy Thompson was a community college coach, and I'll never thank him enough. Like I knew him, but I didn't know
Yeah.
him. But he texted me every day. And there were nights I was up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning because of the medicine I was on. I would text him and he would text me right back.
Hmm.
Like it was amazing. And stuff. And then obviously my assistants and Lauren was always, I've known her since she's 17. She was always there for me. But my wife and my kids were great. Dora's gonna be is a PA, and she was then, and she helped me a lot. I was able to go home from the hospital a lot earlier because she was able to take care of me. It just taught me again that there are a lot of good people in life. There are people that are that way, but there's more good people in life. There really are.
Yeah, so we have another fan question for you. They want to know. Obviously, players have routines before a game, so they want to know if you have a routine before coaching a game.
I do. I always come out real early. Like a lot of head coaches come out like 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before. I come out an hour and a half early. I sit on the bench and I like talking to the TV talent and just telling them, what our, try and still promote our program, talk about our program, talk about our players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about the players. So
Yeah.
as much as I can get the players' name, so I come out early and I talk to the talent and I just watch the other team warm up. I don't watch us warm up because I really don't like to do that, but I watch the other team warm up and I look for tendencies and I look at their size and, is someone limping around? And I like to do that. And I like to talk to the people at our table. We have the same people have been at our table since I've been here, and they're just great men and women. But and then any fans, I try and talk each game, like a CYO group or something like that, just to talk to them. I was busy before the game.
Well, yeah. So
And then I pray. I do pray,
okay.
and I have something one of my closest friend's sister Marie Thornton gave me, so I hold that in my pocket as well. And we have a great priest here, Father John Dennehy, who blessed a medal for us as well.
Yeah. So speaking of this year team, obviously you have a lot of talent. But I want to talk about 3 players here: Lauren Park, Lane, Andrea Espinoza, Hunter, and Cindy Cooks. Speak on those 3 players. When we covered your game, those are the players that shine for us. And obviously, you have a whole team of talented players. But I want to get to those 3 players.
Well, Andrea Espinoza, Hunter, they graduated and saved our program 2 years ago. Our program was, a mid 500, a little above 500 program, and we were just struggling. And she came in, she became eligible mid-year at her transfer and just took us to a different level, not just because of her play, which was amazing, but because of the confidence that she gave. And she walked on the floor. She was great. And I tell this story, my first game that she was there, I was still recovering from COVID and I was sick. And I'm yelling and screaming in the middle of the third quarter. We're down 7 or 8 points at Providence. And on the timeout, she put her arm around me and she goes, it'll be okay. I'm like, no, no, no. She goes, we need you. It will be okay. I promise. But she came out, took a charge, made a jump shot. Yeah, it was amazing. It was like, I say this and not to be so overly dramatic, but I am, because that's who I am. But she saved us. She was like an angel that was sent to me. She really was, because she became someone that I love for us and for me. She really did. And I'll never forget it. And she'll always have a place here at Seton Hall and for the rest of her life. And she was a 2-time transfer, but someone needed to give her a chance, but she also paid it back tenfold. It's like, I'm not trying to get too religious, but like the story in the Bible where, one of the people gave Jesus a coin and he gave it back 10 times. Wow. Like, that she saved me. And then Sidney cooks. Like, I would love to say, yeah, I did it. And and Lauren does an amazing job. But if Andre Espinosa doesn't tell Sidney Cook, stop looking at this other Power 5 school. Come to Seton Hall. It works here. We don't get Sidney Cooks. And she's come in and she's going to be a first round draft choice next year. And she had a great year, first team all conference. And, it was amazing. And a wonderfully nice woman, gets along with everyone on the team, has helped unify this team, will be a captain in our program next year. She's been amazing. And then LP. Whoa. I mean, she's 5'2" and has a heart of a giant. Yeah. She's a wonderful young woman. She's got a great smile. She gets along with everyone. She's a fearless competitor. I don't think people realize that, as much as she was 4th in the country in assists and top 50 in the country in scoring, she was 1st in the country in minutes played. Wow. She's 5'2". Look at her. It is a great story. So we're warming up before the UConn game, and the security guard doesn't know coaches yet, and he just sees this kid out there shooting. She's Andre, always the first one out. So he turns to Lauren, my associate head coach, and goes, "How cute is that? The coach's little daughter is warming up with the team." And Lauren, really? She goes, "Yeah, she's an All-American. She's unbelievable." And gets better and better and better. She has great parents, Jack and Doris, that are just wonderful people that get her, in line, and she's been raised the right way. She's respectful. She's just a joy to be around. And as great a player as she is, I just get excited to coach her every day because she's a really great person. She really is. And we're blessed here at Seton Hall to have all our players, but
yeah. So what's it like to have a point guard like Lauren who can space the floor? If she gets double teamed, have other players open, and she can do fake people out, and man, she can score in bunches. So what's it like to have like the type of point guard where she can do multiple things at one time?
It's beautiful, but she's earned that. Yeah. She's gotten better. When you look at her stats from freshman year, she averaged 6 or 7 points a game. So she just worked hard. She got a trainer during COVID. While other people sat in their house and did nothing during COVID, she worked hard during COVID. And that's a tribute to her parents for doing that. And then, just got better and did really well. I was proud of her and because of her work ethic. And, I'm blessed. In this playoff run from the Big East to the NIT, I can't tell you how many times I looked at, it was in the huddle. I was like, guys. And she'd be like, Coach B, we got it. And it was amazing. I'm like, okay. And we got it. In the Columbia game, we didn't call a timeout in the last minute of the game offensively 2 separate times because the ball was in our hands. I'm like, she'll make the right decision. And she did.
Well, yeah. So we have another fan question for you. They want to know, what is the players' hype music in the locker room before the game starts?
Not Coach Bozzella's, that's for sure. I don't know. It's a little bit of today's mixture to some oldies, but we'll play some oldies during practice every now and then. They don't mind it for a little bit of practice. We play music every day in practice. So I don't really go in their locker room before the game. That's their space, but it's definitely contemporary from today. That's for sure.
Yeah, so tell our fans about the future of this team. Obviously, you guys have to replace a few players, and Andrea and Sidney Cooks, but you still have Maya Jackson, Maya Bembry, Daniela Robinson. You can go. I can go to the list here. Skylar Treadwell, Katie Armstrong, who's another graduate. But what do you like about the future of Seton Hall now for your team, and looking forward to recruiting?
Well, we only graduate 3. Sidney Cooks
Yeah.
actually has another year, so
Oh,
we're
no,
really blessed with that. Thank
yeah.
goodness. So we have 4 starters back. We do lose Katie, who Armstrong, who statistically did not have the year that she wanted, but she helped us win so many games by just really doing all the little things. And then Danielle Robinson was, a great player for us in practice. Unfortunately, didn't get as much opportunity during the games, but really did a great job there. And then obviously Andra. I think while we'll miss her scoring a little bit and her rebounding, sometimes we'll miss that confidence that she brings a little bit. But we returned 4 starters. Maya Jackson, it gets better every year. She's just a knockdown shooter. She gives 100% all the time. She's a warrior out there. She's our captain. She's done, a lot of great things for us to be successful. And we have a lot of other kids that I think, can continue to blossom and get better. But we returned Maya, and Maya Bembry's had a great year for us. I mean, she hit the winning shot, obviously, in the quarterfinal Big East game, but she's a great rebounder, tremendous passer, guards the other team's best player. I think she went from being a good player to a very good player. I think she has to be a great player. And then, we have some other subs that didn't get much of a chance this year, but I think that'll have a much bigger role next year to do well. And then we're bringing in some transfers we're excited about. So, we have one Allie sitting out right now. Mm-hmm. I think that is going to be a really good player transfer from Boston College. And we signed a Jayla Jordan, a transfer out of Auburn. Mm-hmm. And we have a couple more to announce shortly. So I think we're going to have I know we're going to have a really strong program. 4 stars return. I know we finished 35th in the country on the last WBCA poll, but I think, our goal is to make the NCAA tournament and do well. This year we did well in postseason. Let's put it into the NCAAs and do well too. But we know we have a great league. We have to get better. And we have to work hard, and we certainly will. These are good kids.
Yeah, the one thing about the one thing we like about your roster is all these players are versatile. They can play multiple positions, and like this is a new generation. Teams and coaches love versatile players. So for you, what's it like having a roster of players that can play multiple positions?
And that's what we do. We want versatile players. We try and play a positionless offense. I think it's attractive to a lot of kids, both high school and college players. I mean, we have a great high school kid coming in, Shaylin Pinckney, that was voted Connecticut State Player of the Year. So we're excited to have her in as well. But I think these kids are attracted to our program for a variety of reasons, but basketball-wise, because we spread the floor, we play positionless. Coach Rabimbas has instilled a great offense that moves the ball and keeps the kids spaced. And it's a fun system to play in. We talk to recruits even now. A bunch of them have called us after this great playoff run, and they're excited. They want to come here because they're excited to play in our system. And it's a great system. It allows everyone to touch the ball and share the ball and shoot the ball if they're open.
Yeah. So we have another fan question. They want to know, do you like, as a coach, do you like the transfer portal now in college?
We utilize it a lot.
Yeah.
And while I don't love the portal, because I think a lot of people go into the portal thinking they're going to get a scholarship, I think it hurts a lot of people, and like I said, Coach DeFalco is a master at transfers. So this just makes it easier for everybody else to catch up to us. But that's okay. Listen, we utilize the transfer portal. I wish everyone would have to sit out a year. Is right now, if you're not playing, a lot of kids just leave because they don't want to, be the backup for a year or backup for 2 years. So we have a kid named Amani Wright, who's a really good point guard. She plays behind LP, but she worked really hard, especially at the end of the year, and helped us win a lot of playoff games because we had to play her and LP together. So if more kids would do that and just work hard and try and find a different niche for during the games or during practice, as opposed to, well, this kid plays my position. Well, learn another position, like Amani did and Amari did. I won't say Amari did. And I think those things are important. I just wish the kids would be a little more patient. It would allow you to grow programs in a different way. But the rule is you have a transfer portal. Some people thought it was best. I'm going to follow that lead and do the best we can. And we've had a lot of success out of it, obviously.
Well, yeah. So as a coach, when do you start prepping for next season? Obviously now you guys are busy bringing in players, but once you guys finalize your roster. Do you get the ground running for next season by bringing them early to practice? I mean, to the stadium and practice.
We're going to give them off the rest of from basketball the rest of the semester because we went so long. There was only 4 teams left playing at the end, so we're going to give them the rest of the semester off. And then we're going to do in July. We'll meet up and for about 4 weeks and work on our game and still our offense and defense, and then bring them back in September. We play deep into the playoffs. We believe we're going to, so we try not to kill them in in any way. Everything we do is basketball related. We don't run for the sake of running. We run with basketball and a plan. So, we just want to put it in little by little. But they've earned it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And tell our fans, describe some of your best moments as a Seton Hall coach so far in your career.
Well, certainly this past one to end the year has been amazing. Not everyone thinks because we were 16-3, but really the kids fought through adversity. I was just proud of them. And we won a lot of close games and we had a lot of difficult travel and they never complained. They just did their thing. And I'm blessed because, we have some my associate coach Lauren and my assistants Jose Ribimbas and Pete Zanella, but behind the scenes, Shakina Richardson as our Dobo and Christy Guttridge and Andrew Cates as our operations people. We would not have had this success without them. They made it seem like the kids never complained. Everything went smooth. It was so simple. And I know it wasn't. And Shakina and Christy and Andrew deserve a lot of credit for that and for our success. We're blessed with a great staff. So the reason we're as good as we're supposed to be is because we have great people around us and a great staff. And I'm really lucky about that and stuff. And it's just been fun. Like, I tell you, it's been fun to have these people. It's been fun to do a lot of different things. I have 2 young ladies walking in the gym right now that make it a lot more fun. Come here, please. We're live on TV. Come here. I don't know if you know this young lady.
Hello.
But this is Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
You know this young lady.
Hey, there we go.
These 2 of our.
What's up?
Hey, congrats on a great season.
You want to talk to them for a minute? Yeah, let me come here, girl. Sit down for a minute. Sit down. What? And then, little Josh, you come here. Yeah.
What's up? Lauren and Sidney, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, wow, this is amazing. Obviously, me and my friends got to cover one of your games. I think it was the Sweet 16 game we got to cover. But for you, speak on this season's success and your coach, right, Tony, right there. But speak on your individual success to our fans.
I mean, for me, it was wild. This is the happiest I've been in my college career. Just being surrounded by great people constantly, like it gets you going. The way they give me, it definitely. I'm still lost of words of how well this season went, and just kind of the exposure that me and LP were able to get. Yeah, happy.
Laura, yeah.
I would say definitely the confidence everyone has in each other here. It helps a lot when you're playing, to know that your teammates always, as well as the coaches too. I just feel like this season we all just got on the same page, which led to most of our success.
Yeah, so I want to speak on the pick and roll game for you, both of you. It must be fun, right? Having a point guard like Lauren and having a big center like Sidney Cook. So what's it like between you two in the pick and roll game and practices?
I think we just go with the flow. Like whatever we see open, it just kind of happens. Like, I don't know. We really just built that connection so we don't even have to say it. It's like, we already know what's going to be open. So like sometimes I'll barely set the screen and I'll be like, shoot it. And then she'll knock down the 3. And then the next time she's like, slip. Like, I don't know. We just kind of naturally got that connection now.
Yeah, I think it came with like a lot of practice. Just getting to know each other more, especially this being Sid's first year, her getting to like the system that we play and everything. But But yeah, like she said, now it's just like a natural thing. So more excited for it next year.
Do you guys have time for a few fan questions here, real quick?
Yeah.
All right. One of our fans want to know, what do you guys what do you guys like to listen to before a game, like hype music wise?
Ooh, I listen to everything. Probably Lil Baby.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Gunna type of person.
Oh yeah. Another fan wants to know, what's your go-to snack before a game?
Ooh, Rice Krispie treats.
Gatorade juice.
All right. Another fan wants to know, what name would he come up for both of you? Like obviously they come up with nicknames if there's like three, like a big three. Or what nickname would he give for both of you as like a big two?
Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah. I like that. Shaq and Kobe. I'm definitely Kobe.
No, definitely. I could do a little better than Shaq though.
So another fan wants to know, who do you guys look up to in the WNBA?
Ooh, everyone. Definitely Candace Parker growing up for me.
Aaron McDonald.
Oh, Aaron, yeah.
Yeah.
I see your game. When I saw you play in the Sweet 16 game, Lauren, I see some of your game in Aaron McDonald, in my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you.
And the last question here, one of our fans want to know, what are your thoughts on South Carolina? What was your thoughts on South Carolina winning the national championship game?
So happy for them.
Yes.
I think well deserved. Yeah, they played really, really well. Shout out to them.
You could tell that they didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
They was out there fighting for their life.
Especially because they had that picture of Aaliyah crying, and like now she got the championship. It was just awesome. I think that was just so.
Yeah, so there you have it, Lauren and Sidney. Thanks for coming in here, video bombing your coach.
Oh yeah.
Continue success, and I'm really excited to see where you guys go for next season. And like I said, when we cover your game, you guys stood out with great games in the Sweet 16. But you guys will learn a lot from. Oh, there you go, another
my dog.
But yeah, I just want to say continued success, and I'm really proud of you guys. And man, your team is heading into the right direction, really inspiring. And Sidney, I can tell you for sure, both of you guys will be in the WNBA, in my opinion.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I just want to say thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Thanks, ladies.
Yep.
Thanks.
There you go. That was fun.
Thanks for having them. I appreciate it. So, but I appreciate being on and everything. I have a 12 o'clock. So
yeah. So so before we get so the last two things, our team is part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. We're trying to help him prevent human trafficking, making sure the community stays safe, the kids stay safe. So we'll send you the foundation so you can go check it out.
Please do that. That would be very, very something I really would like to be involved in and help out. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you. And I love your show, and we'll certainly promote it all the time. And we got to get us back on again. I'd love to get back on.
We got to get the whole team on.
Absolutely. Whatever you want. Thank you.
And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and all the center workers right now?
You know, I appreciate being able to end together, and it's been great getting to know you, and I'm so thrilled to be on. They saved my life.
Yeah.
They're true heroes. You know, I'm not exaggerating, because I was in the hospital and I was supposed to be in there a lot longer. And that nurse said to me, "You're getting out of here." I'm like, "Yeah, but," you know, she goes, "No, you're getting out of here." And the people at St. Barnabas here in New Jersey saved my life. The nurses, I was a very sick man, and they saved me. And all these healthcare workers, they're all superheroes. I can't thank them enough, and especially the people at St. Barnabas. Arnie Manzo was the vice president back then, and all the people there now. I love them all, and I love you all out there for sacrificing so much to keep these people alive.
Well, there you have it. That wraps up big episode 1000 for the NR Sports Show with Coach Tony Bozzella for Seton Hall Women's basketball team. Also, 2 players made an appearance today, Lauren Park and Sidney Cooks. That was amazing. Thank you again for coming on the show, and obviously for your 2 players to come on here. Thank you again. We're going to have you back on the show at some point, and hopefully the full team here, and where you guys get to meet my team also. But thank you again, and this was truly an honor. Continued success. Congrats on an amazing season, and you guys are really inspiring. And thank you again.
Thank you. God bless everyone.
Thank you.